Hey guys, we are back after the Memorial Day weekend. I hope you guys had a great holiday. We are thrilled to be back. We're open normal hours today, normal hours all the week. How are you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you? It's
Good.
summer. Summer's here.
It is.
Summer
It is.
arrived.
And then tomorrow it's going to be low 70s. So, you know,
Mm, good stuff.
we're
So, what
going
are we
to
talking about? Yeah.
good, thank you. Yeah, we're going to review another tremendous article that I found extremely interesting. Again, from one of our, favorite friends, person who makes great emails and great visuals and just great products, and that's David Jockers. And he put out something he shared with me yesterday morning, food cravings, the top five, and what they might mean for you. And I, for one, have
Right.
experienced one or more of these as well. So I thought this was fascinating.
Yeah. It's funny because, joking around, it's when women are pregnant, they get these crazy cravings. But when we go over these, you'll see that it's not just the pregnant women that get the cravings. But you'll look back and you'll say, "Wow, I didn't realize what that's connected to." And each of these five food cravings has a specific thing that the body is looking for, which it's really your innate intelligence speaking out as to why you need that chocolate, for example. So, yeah,
Right.
Dr. David Jockers does a tremendous job. His graphics department, his articles are on point. You should really visit uh, Dr. Jockers, JOCKERS.com. So, thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's start off with the common one, and that would be salt.
Yeah, and it's funny because Dr. Noah and myself have children that are athletes, and the biggest need for athletes is to replace their salt and their electrolytes. And so, when someone is craving salt, it's a need for trace elements. What do you get from that, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, that's electrolytes. Our favorite is Element, LMNT. You could get at www.drinklmnt.com. Uh, if you're craving salt, that means you need to consume more salt, obviously, and that could be anything from just adding more sea salt to your food, because it also means you're deficient in some trace minerals. So it doesn't only mean salt. It could be little bits of whatever trace minerals you could possibly think of, like a little bit of magnesium, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Bone broth, sea vegetables. It's just an important thing to pay attention to, particularly in the summer, and particularly if you are an avid exerciser, you have kids that are athletes, or you're an athlete yourself.
Yeah, we love Element. There's a lot of different flavors. I usually have chocolate salt in my coffee in the morning. It is just the angels sing when I taste that stuff. It is amazing. And then standalone, I'll usually have citrus. Actually, I've got a couple. It looks like this. That's the chocolate salt. And wait, I have one. Wait, there's one. Uh, Citrus salt. That's my favorite.
Yep.
So
It's
you can see it has 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams magnesium.
I have a few sample packs left, so if anybody wants to try some Element, just let me know. I have them in the office for sure.
Yep.
Next one is sweets. So if you are craving sweets, other than a glucose problem, there could be something underlying too, a specific trace mineral, and that mineral would be, Mike.
That mineral is chromium.
Right, right,
So
right,
what's
right,
the
right.
connection?
Yeah, chromium just helps regulate metabolism.
Got
It
it.
also helps metabolize sugar, and it's one of those things that if you're diabetic, they typically recommend that you take chromium picolinate, and it tends to help with those blood sugar swings. But if you're craving sweets, it's not only a sugar dysregulation problem. It could very much mean that you need some chromium, and chromium is found basically in dark green leafy vegetables, some fish, meat. If your diet is paleo-ish and wide, and varied, you're likely getting enough chromium. But if it's not, and you're a person who eats a lot of fast food and or a lot of French fries, or one thing like just chicken all the time with a little bit of rice, you could very well be chromium deficient.
Yeah, some of the specific foods that are high in chromium are broccoli, raw onions, green beans, mushrooms, tomatoes, romaine lettuce, and our old friend cinnamon.
Yeah, so there you
Yeah,
go. That's
good stuff.
important.
Yeah,
And I guess that's one of the reasons why cinnamon is very good for blood sugar regulation too, because it's higher in chromium, which is interesting.
it is an interesting factoid.
Next one is one that I have experienced many years ago, and that would be chocolate. Who doesn't crave chocolate?
It is chocolate. Is probably one of the biggest for people craving. It's usually I think chocolate or sugar, but so dark chocolate. It could also be magnesium, a magnesium deficit. So take it away.
Yeah, so for I believe it's magnesium, and we're all deficient in magnesium
Yeah.
basically. So it's not a strange thing that you would be um, craving chocolate. But for me too, chocolate is also very high in iron. And about
Mm.
5 6 years ago, I was very anemic, and I craved chocolate. Like really, it was very peculiar to me, and I finally put two and two together, and I've since obviously corrected that anemia problem, and I still really enjoy chocolate. Love chocolate, definitely a feel good for me, but I don't crave it like I used to. So number one thing is definitely magnesium. Number two would be an iron deficiency. So if you're really craving chocolate, you may want to address your magnesium, and that's important. Magnesium has impacts in over 300 metabolic functions. It's not really prevalent in our food anymore. It's really important.
And their thinking is that 80% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. Some of the foods, as you said, raw leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, avocado, wild caught fish, and raw grass-fed dairy products. So you get a
Yep.
fair amount of magnesium from those.
Next one up, number four, is dairy. And if you're craving dairy, you could very well be deficient in essential fatty acids. That's EPA, DHA, CLA, GLA, ALA. And these are very important fats for our nervous system. They're very important fats for the structure of our cell membranes. Our body needs them, our brain needs them. They're very anti-inflammatory. So if you're craving dairy, look towards essential fatty acids for sure.
Yeah, essential fatty acids. You can get that. I'll go over the smaller amounts first, but you can get it from grass-fed beef and game, lamb, wild game, and pasture-raised eggs. But by far the biggest is wild-caught fish. By far, leaps and bounds over everything else. You
Totally,
can also get it.
totally agree.
Yeah, you can get it from ground flax seeds, chia, and hemp seeds, as well as also blue green algae. But the by far, I think wild caught fish trumps all those put together. I'm pretty sure it's that high.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's other things too, like you said, like wild caught. I mean, grass-fed beef too has a little bit, but very small in comparison to fish and salmon and sardines and anchovies, and obviously a lot of people supplement with omega-3 fatty acids too and essential fatty acids, and I think that's a good idea as well.
Absolutely.
Final one, number five, is red meat. We kind of touched about this a little bit. If you are deficient, if you're craving red meat, it's a real clear indication that you're iron deficient and or B12 deficient.
Yeah, and B12 can't be stored, so you can take it. Vegans take B12, and vegetarians take B12 too because they don't get it from vegetable sources.
Right.
But um, you red meat definitely has a large amount of vitamin B and B12, and also obviously a lot of iron in it.
Yeah, and B12 deficiency in of itself can create a form of anemia called pernicious anemia. So you're looking at a bunch of different types of anemia. You and I are both fans of very, very, pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished meats, and really think that's a good idea. And if you're craving that, look towards adding more red meat into your diet. If anybody's, I don't know, Mike, if you've ever been anemic, but if you're anemic, and it's more common in women because of their menstrual
Mhm.
cycles and things of that nature, it's really really bad. It's
Right.
really fatiguing,
Right.
and it's the silver lining is that it's really easy to correct too in
Right.
most cases.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I got.
That's all I got. We fully support David Jockers. Mike and I'll email this stuff out to you guys later. And if you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, comments, let us know. And remember,
Yeah.
we're all open today, 3 to 6.
All right, guys. Peace.
Bye bye.